I just didn't know it was going to be this funky. Oh, 7. Podcast 7. Number 7. Preceded by 6. Followed by 8. But we don't care about that. We care about 7. It's prime number. Oh, it's almost like Rage Against the Machine as well. If you 7 you, I won't do what you tell me. 7 you, won't do what you tell me. Podcast 7. Podcast 7. Oh, so sweet. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
A bit of funky bass there.
Oh, I love that. I love that.
Oh, bloody loud. That's better. That's better.
Oh, that's good.
Can you all hear us all right in your headphones?
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, I'm good.
You good?
Am I loud? Shall I move further forward or back?
Come
Or?
forward.
Come forward.
Cool.
This is why we should do a sound check before we just hit record, isn't it, Rod?
Yeah.
Possibly. The amount of shows we've done between us where we sound check before we actually go on stage, we should learn from those lessons.
So, episode number 7.
Yes, preceded by 6, followed by 8.
Yeah.
It's a prime number, only divisible by 1 in itself. Wikipedia, I love you. Sorry.
And I'd like to introduce guest number 7, Adam Chmarny. Hello.
Ah, you said it wrong.
Oh, shit. Hold on.
Everybody says it wrong. Don't worry.
Correct me.
It's Chmarny. It's a silent H.
Hold on. Right. Edit.
Oh.
I would like to welcome...
Do it. We'll just leave it all in.
It's fine. Everyone gets it wrong. I'm so used to it. I don't care anymore.
All right. And Adam and I go back a long way, don't we, Adam?
Yes, I believe. Was it 11 years I said earlier?
Shit, is it really?
I think so, because I think I started in Fret in 2007.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was there
yeah,
slightly
this-
before you, I think, wasn't I?
I
But it
think so.
wasn't a long time before you. We kind of started at the same time.
This
Yeah.
is a question I often ask. How did you meet? So Fret is the link. Fret
Fret
music.
is the link for a lot.
Oh God, they were there for all of us for a
Yes.
long time.
It was the
Very
musical hub of Southampton
It
for us,
was.
wasn't it?
It
was.
was.
And sadly, I was obviously in Australia when it closed. Is it for a reason or?
Basically, I left and it all went tits up. So
Fair
It's true, actually, because I left before you.
yes.
So it's not my fault.
No, it's not
my
your fault. I left end of 2012
Yeah.
to then start my job at the uni,
Yeah.
at Southampton Uni, and within a couple of years it was gone. So it's,
There we
it's
go.
my fault.
So
Just blame me. Everyone else does.
yeah, I did. I came back from Australia 2 years ago, and I was one because I moved into Shirley and thought, yes.
Finally, I can.
A walk to Fret, and got there and
It's a DJ shop.
It was a lowly DJ shop, so
It is, yeah. I've been in this weird going in there. Have you been in there?
I
it was a bit odd, yeah.
Because the inside is all like almost exactly the same. They haven't changed any walls,
Nothing.
but the layout
No,
is
the
the same.
counter's the same.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I might have to go in there. Because I've not been in it since Ed moved down to Unit 6 or whatever it was,
That's right,
and then up to the High Street again, but a bit further down. So I went in those, but I never went back into the original shop because I kind of didn't want to.
Yeah.
But I should probably go back and have a look and
Yeah.
just sort of reminisce.
Just walk in and I see what you're doing wrong, guys.
It looks exactly the same. You don't want to do that.
There's no guitars or basses.
Yeah, exactly.
So in a sentence or two, then, can you sum up? Although we've got 11 years to cover, where you are now.
Where I am now. So I'm working as a music technician for Southampton University, Southampton, which they have just now renamed and rebranded for some reason, I have no idea why, just all of a sudden we got an email through saying we've changed our name. It's like, okay.
So what is it now, sorry?
Solent University Southampton.
So it used to be the Institute.
Used to be the Institute, then it went to Southampton Solent University.
Yeah.
Everybody just called it Solent because it was, shorter and quicker and easier.
Yeah.
So they've now changed it to Solent University Southampton. So they're all doing all the rebrand and all that sort of stuff at the moment. So I work there as a music technician. I look after the music performance course, the performance production course, and the production course. So there's three courses that I kind of technically run in a way. So I've got 4 rehearsal rooms that I look after mainly, with all the drums and the amps and the acoustics and all that sort of stuff. I fix that on a daily basis when they break things.
I can imagine.
Bring it back in and don't bother telling me. It says, "Oh yeah, no, I broke a string last week. Did you?" Yeah. I was like, "No, I found it. Thank you for telling me. I appreciate that." So yeah, I do that. I do all the sort of the logistics for them. They obviously have assessed gigs during the year. So every year does 2 gigs. First and second year do 2 gigs a year, and they need to be assessed. And obviously we go down to a venue. Normally Talking Heads or
Talking Heads is going. Talking Heads is going now, isn't it?
I heard this rumour.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
Mike told me, heads up to Mike, thanks for coming around and jamming the other night. Mike told me the other night that it was going, and I was like, I'm just back and just played there once.
Yeah, that's a shame.
Is it like monthly deadline or
end of September, I think.
Is it that close?
Like that. Yeah. So yeah, I take the work van and we go down there and I take all the gear down, set it all up, and stay there all night and make sure that nothing falls over, nothing breaks, and if anything does, then I will go and sort it all out after we've watched them try and do it, because that's always interesting. We'll just sit there like, I don't know what I'm doing.
When they inevitably fail, you step in.
Yeah, pretty much. Once I finish laughing, I will then go and help. We had some colleges in, because we do like a college sort of open evening battle of the bands kind of thing as well, sort of towards the end of the academic year. And there was one band, the band that eventually won, but the guitarist was all set up and it was all eager. I watched them during sound check. And I was like, they're quite rock and rolly, they're quite cool. Long hair, Les Paul. Presses his pedal, goes with the first chord, dead. Nothing. And he's just like, oh no. And he tried for ages, and I sort of looked at my colleague Andy, I was like, I should probably go help him now, I suppose. We'll go over there and find out he's just basically plugged in the pedal the wrong way around. So he's going in the out and out the ear. I was just like, there you go, try that.
Is that not part of the courses that you run? Is that not part of their learning, all that sort of stuff? Or is it more based on the actual performance side of it, rather than the technical side of putting things together and all that?
It's normally the actual playing and learning how to play and all that sort of stuff. That was that was a college band, so they came from, I can't remember, Brockenhurst or something, I don't know. And they sort of, it's kind of like a recruitment thing that we do. They do about the bands and then sort of see if they want to come here and all that sort of stuff.
That's cool.
But yeah, sort of the course they do quite a lot. So they will do theory. So the performance do a lot. We do theory as well as have their individual instrument lesson. They'll be first couple of years they'll be put into bands that they've then got to, do covers and then write songs and all that sort of stuff.
That's great.
And like do gigs and written work, which is just shit.
So is it a degree or is it like a?
Yeah, it's a full degree.
It's a 3-year.
3-year
full-on job. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool.
So I'd love to have done. You've done.
Yeah, but then when I did
lines.
it in the year 2000, I had the choice of London or London. I think. I don't know. ACM hadn't even started by then. I don't think. So this is pre-ACM, and now you get them all over the country.
All over
similar
the place.
courses.
Yeah, there's so many. It's grown like wildfire. So.
Yeah.
I'd have probably. So there's me saying I'd love to have done it. I'd have probably done it right up until the teacher gave me a crap cover to learn. I'd have been like, no, lost interest, see you later. 17 grand down the drain.
Yeah.
Sorry, can't learn that. But no, it's not about that, is it? It's about being broad and learning everything. So,
yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Like, they do workshops where they've got to learn like Pinball Wizard or or Billie Jean or whatever, and they all have to learn the part, and there's a reason that they're doing that song and why.
Ties in with the
exactly
with the theory learning and
exactly how the song's written, how it's played, and all that sort of stuff, and the discipline for that song and how to play and all that sort of stuff. So they learn that. They do that. They do a different song a week.
Are they called LPWs? You could call them that? That's what I used to call them. Live performance workshops.
Oh, we just call them workshops.
Oh, okay.
So
I used to be quite intimidated when I did that, because you would step up. I wouldn't necessarily know what band I was playing with. It's like you're a drummer, you're a singer, you're a keyboard player, you're a bass player. Up you get. You all know the song. Go.
Exactly. Yeah. That's exactly what.
And all the other students are sat down in the audience watching.
Yeah.
And
it can
all
be
teachers at the back are like, I don't know, like music mafia, basically, sit at the back with their arms crossed.
Oh man.
Yeah. I mean, it's intimidating, but luckily the guys that I work with are they can be a little bit intimidating, but in a good way, and they're a lot of fun. So they'll sit and take the piss out of each other as well as the students, and it's all sort of a give and take thing. So I would set like the room up, I'd set the PA up, and they would bring all the instruments down, and I would sit at the back and sort of quote unquote mix it and just sort of sit there on my phone. I was like, oh, you want more of that? Okay, fine. So I'll do that, and I'll laugh along to the stupid innuendos that they come out with and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, it's a lot of fun.
You've been to a Caroline's Capuchin gig. Oh dear. The pressure of having a microphone when not knowing what to say ever is just too much, especially for me.
Yeah. Because we were going through some old live recordings the other day, and some of the stuff you said,
I can't even remember saying some of that stuff. Shocking. And no.
I'll insert some in here just to really embarrass you.
Don't. Let's not go back there.
When Aidan was in Spain, he met this girl, and it was horrible because he fell proper in love with her, and it turned out she was a robot. It sucked. So we wrote this song about her.
So when I know you now,
yes,
as someone who I can take my bases to when I've knackered them, and then like a few days later you pass it back to me, and then you constantly just like a revolving.
I was like, oh, what one of you bought me this week?
But when I first met you, am I right in thinking that it was Fret where you started to kind of really get into that? And
that's kind of where I cut my teeth. I learned from there was an in-house tech who used to come in on a Tuesday called Ken.
I remember.
Do you remember Ken?
Oh yeah,
Crazy Ken.
I wonder where Ken is now. Ken was great fun.
Was it?
He was the hardest man you've ever met.
Ever
met?
Tough
hard.
Oh
yes.
Oh. Like did karate, was like a proper 7th dan, which is like really would go out to.
He was one of the top in the country or something, wasn't he?
Yeah, one of the at least top 3 or something like that. Would go out to Japan every year and train and do all that sort of stuff, because there was no one over here that could train him. So he would go out there and do all of that sort of stuff. And he was a lot of fun. He was a little bit hard work sometimes. Bless him.
Hi, Ken, if you're listening.
Hi.
I don't think he is.
Hi.
When I say hard work, I mean really, really pleasant to no.
Yes, he used to love putting me in headlocks. It was so much fun.
Oh, yeah, he did, didn't he?
Yes. I'm not the biggest person in the world, but he would always pick on me and just grab me, and it was a lot of fun. I look back on that with very fond memories. But
he had a collection of like 50 guitars or something, didn't he?
Yeah, 30, 50, something like that.
I think that's awesome, because like karate, like having a martial art in your life, that's massive dedication as it is.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. That is a lot of time chewed up of your week, every day, and then to have another interest as well, like guitars, bass, whatever.
Yeah. Because he taught as well, from what I remember. He had a dojo and everything, which was down in Portsmouth, I think, something like that.
He would have had to have been tough to be in Portsmouth.
So I learned a lot from Ken. I would used to, on a Tuesday, I would sort of, supposed to obviously help customers and stuff, but I would rather sit and talk with him, and he would talk me through what he's doing on a setup and soldering and how he restrings things and all that sort of stuff. So I learned a lot from him. And he had to go away to have a hip replacement, I think. I believe it's because of all the roundhouse kicking that he did, obviously. Yeah.
Chuck Norris his hip right out.
Yes, I think he even met Chuck Norris.
No, did he?
I think so. There's a vague recollection where he was in a movie and he was roundhouse kicked by Chuck. It's something like
Is this a new
that. More than likely.
Okay.
I think I could be completely and utterly wrong, and I could be getting that wrong. But I'm sure there was something like that. He could have been.
Have we each got a Chuck Norris joke? No, just me.
Go on then. No, you can't do
there's
this like
millions of Chuck Norris jokes, and there's one that made me. I think my brother told me, and he said, well, no, it's not a joke. It's factual. He says, Chuck Norris. You know Chuck Norris? I'm like, yeah. He goes, he doesn't do push-ups. He does world push-downs. I was like, and there's hundreds of these Chuck Norris jokes.
I was very big into the stupid Chuck Norris facts, but for the life of me, I can't remember any of them. I'll go home later and I'll be like, oh yeah, that one. So yeah, I learned a lot from Ken, and obviously Graham used to work there as well, and he would come in.
Past guest Graham, episode number
4, 5, 4, 3,
4.
Right first time. Should have trusted myself.
So yeah, he would come in and help out, and he would show me tricks that he had learned on the road and all that sort of stuff. So I taught him things. I was very good at doing like Floyd Roses or whatever. I could do that quite quickly, and he was like, "How the hell do you do that so quickly?" And I was like, "Well, you do this," and I'd go through it with him. He's like, "Oh, okay, that makes sense." And then he would give me some sort of wisdom of knowledge, and that's kind of how
that nice back and forthness.
Yeah, exactly. So I learned a lot from him. I learned a lot from Ken, and the more recent stuff that I've been sort of doing and trying out, I've just looked on YouTube and found it all on there. And it's an amazing resource for all of that sort of stuff. So
yeah, true that. From more than just guitar, it's anything you need to look at. How to pull your wing mirror off your car.
Yeah, exactly. I've done all of that.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. It's amazing. And me being a bit older than you guys, I remember a time when there was not mobile phones. And, and there was not, the internet was just sort of coming out, and God, man, you didn't know nothing. Nowadays, you know everything at the click of a
pop shield.
Yes,
click of a pop shield. But yeah, that's cool. But so the solely bass teching, or you just mentioned Floyd Rose, and obviously that's a guitar trend there, so that's cool. Yeah, so
I can do
any stringed instruments at all.
So I can do guitar, I can do bass, I can be a drum tech as well, so I can reskin kits and tune those all up, and set those up quite quickly and quite easily. So yeah, that's kind of what I.
And then with I bring an old crappy ukulele to you.
Mm-hmm.
Is it much the same?
It's just
all.
Tuning.
Is there
that's all it
a
is.
Standard set of rules you follow for most instruments with strings, or?
Kind of, yeah. So ukuleles are sort of very much in the nylon strung acoustic kind of family, because they're all kind of quote unquote gut strings.
Yeah.
So you do it exactly the same as a classical guitar. So it's you use what you know from that on something that's ever so slightly smaller, that's got less strings. So it's
but the physics is the same. It's
the theory's exactly the same, but it's just the practice of doing it on certain stringed instruments is ever so slightly different, basically.
So you said Ken went off for a hip hop.
Yeah,
that's right.
And then
hip hop. That would have been good. I mean, great.
Did he become Parappa the Rapper? Because he was kung fu, wasn't he?
Oh, there you go.
That's very good. I used to love that as a kid.
And then you kind of took over the reins then, I guess, did you?
I did, yeah. So I took over the reins, and then I just I carried on a Tuesday. That was my day in the very small workshop bench thing that we had, and I would do all the setups and all the restrings and just do all of that, and I just did it day in and day out.
It's a great way to learn, isn't it?
It's just it's all repetitive. I can restring a guitar in 5 minutes and not think about it, because I've done it so many different times, and I also started doing the eBay store for them as well.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah.
So Yeah, I had to do a lot there, just to say the least.
All the packaging and all the shipping and the
all the listing. I took all the pictures, I did all the descriptions. Scott sorted out all the prices for me, and I just had a spreadsheet and I just copied and pasted. My Monday was basically my eBay day, so I would spend from like 9:30 in the morning until 5 o'clock at night just doing that.
Yeah.
I think the record of putting something on and selling it was 14 minutes.
Wow.
Which I thought was quite cool.
Do you remember what it was?
Yeah.
Something very obscure. I think it was a pedal or something. I can't remember. It was something very small, and it took all of 15 minutes, and I was like, oh, that's all right. So
I was hoping it was one of my old basses I part exchanged. Something. I part exchanged an old Warwick F&A. If anyone's got that, I'd like to have it back, please. I know it's probably 16 years ago, but I really missed that one. Anyway, moving on.
And then you discovered that you had a love for it and a real affinity for it.
Yeah, and again, Graham said, you're actually really good at this. I was like, cheers, I appreciate that.
Actually, you surprised him.
Yeah, he did actually.
You're actually quite good at this.
Have you got a technical mind, or?
I very much like taking things apart and trying to figure out why it does the thing that it does. I remember the first time I took a scratch plate off my first guitar. I was like, oh, what is actually in here? What makes...
Why does it do what it does?
Exactly. So I remember taking it off and looking at it and going, oh, okay, I haven't got a clue what that does. And I screwed it back together. I was like, nah, whatever, I can't be bothered with that. I strung it back up and carried on playing it. So that was my first thing I did. But then curiosity sort of...
So you were a player
in.
before...
Yes. So I was a player before...
Well, you were a player before. Did you join folk music because you were a guitar player and that was the natural...
Yes. And I had started doing repairs and stuff. So I sort of cheekily put that on my CV.
Yeah.
And I can remember it was my third day or something, and Scott was like, so, you can fix things then? I was like, well... He was just like, oh. So I just started off doing restrings there, which I, obviously got very good at and very quick at.
Yeah.
So, and then obviously the whole Ken thing happened, and yeah. So yeah, after Ken turned into Parappa the Rapper,
Punch, kick, it's all in the mind. I used to love that game. Sorry, moving on. Sorry, I've got to stop.
So I carried on doing the repair work, and Graham would come in and sort of help out and sort of watch me do stuff and bring stuff in for me, and then there was an opportunity to go out to do a couple of shows with a band called Angel Witch.
Oh yeah, all right.
So he had been out with them because obviously he was in Firebird with Bill, and Bill was in Angel Witch at the time, and it was all kind of that. So he was teching for them, and he needed an extra pair of hands. He was like, we've talked about this before. You said you kind of want to do it. Do you want to come along? I was like,
amazing.
Yes, of course I do.
Where did you go?
So the first gig was in Holland. For the life of me, I can't remember what town it was. But that was kind of a 200-300 cap venue. From what I remember, there wasn't a massive amount of people there. Mm-hmm. But it was basically a warm-up gig for the festival, which was the next day, which was a metal festival called Grass Pop Metal Meet, which is in Belgium. So we did that the next day, and that was technically my first ever festival that I'd ever been to ever.
What was your role? What did you have to do?
So I helped set the stage up. We did line check, and we just then had to watch.
Did you do the cool thing, right? This is what I've always wanted to do, where just before the bang goes on, the guitar tech goes out and make sure that the guitars are working, coming back through the monitors. So it's just you on stage with a whole audience. And it's usually an AC/DC riff, isn't it?
Normally, yeah.
Have you done that?
Yes, I've done that many times.
What does it feel like?
It's all right, actually. It's good fun. 15 seconds of fame, you'll just sit up there riffing away in E or whatever.
The band's coming on, the band's coming on. Oh.
No. No.
I
actually remember I went to see POD, Payable on Death, whatever they called it. I went to see them.
Like his new metal.
Yeah, and they were. It was just a gig. It was just one of the hundreds of gigs I used to go when I was younger. And a guitar tech came out and actually played a part of a POD song, and the audience went mad, and like then it obviously wasn't him. He was a completely different race, and all this sort of stuff. But it was just weird. I thought that's a bit odd. You know what I mean? Maybe you're just they're so entwined, and they're just first thing that came to his head. I don't know. Bit bizarre. I thought.
Yeah, a bit. But I don't do that. I normally play Superstition by.
Oh, do you? That's your riff, is it?
That's my go-to riff, and normally I'm down tune either half a step, a whole step, or down to B.
Give it
so
some.
It just sounds.
You plugged in.
No, hang on.
There
you go. Sorry about that.
So that's usually played to thousands, but it's a private performance just for us.
Exactly.
We are honoured. Thank you.
You're welcome. So that day, or that sort of those two gigs, I was there to set everything up, make sure everything was working, so sound check the guitar, and this was in a tent that was full of about 3,000 people or something.
Mm-hmm. Oh wow!
So we had Alan, who was doing the drum tech, Graham and me to do the two guitars and bass.
Mm-hmm.
So he was, I think at the time, he was doing Bill's guitar. So he was line checking Bill's guitar, and I was doing Kevin's guitar, which is the main guy. This is the guy who started Angel Witch and all that sort of stuff.
Okay.
So he's the only one that sings as well. So I'm stood right at the front, microphone in front of me. And yeah, so it kind of gets round. So if you've done drums, you've done bass, you've done the two guitars separately, then together, and then it comes to the vocal check, which I've not done.
Oh, you got to do that.
I had to do that in front of 3,000 people.
Did you
First time I've ever done it.
Please tell me you did Superstition.
No, I just. No, I didn't do that, unfortunately. So I was just frozen on the spot, and I was like, "Oh God, I've got to do this now."
That's where my mischief bone cuts loose. You know what I mean? I just can't help. That's what goes wrong. You can't help but do something dickish, and you're just like, "Don't, man, don't!" Oh, I've got done it. Do you know what I mean? But what do you do? Do you do the classic?
I just did the classic,
check,
check, 1 2 1 2 check, and I belted it out as loud as I possibly could.
Because with a guitar, you can just kind of strum it. With a mic,
you've got to stand there.
The EQ and the compressor levels are set for that specific singer, aren't they? So you've got to try and replicate what he's doing to make sure you get an accurate.
Yeah, exactly. You've got to
get the volume.
Yeah, you've got to get the volume out there. Everything.
Blimey. And then is it a myth, or is there like synth and all that sort of stuff? And
yeah,
I remember sound checking the microphones with words I've heard guys using syphilis and all that sort of stuff, and I'm like, blimey. chill out. But
I do that sometimes.
It's a nice word for a very nasty thing.
Or I do the Spinal Tap one where it's what is it? This is mic number 1. This is mic number 1. Isn't this a lot of fun?
Oh, do you do that?
I always do that.
Did you get like a nod of recognition?
And every now and then I get a little smirk or a little giggle in the corner somewhere, and I'm like, yeah,
a little tip of the hat.
Yeah, exactly. The sound man knows I do it, and he's just sort of I can see him, and he's always sort of smiling whenever I do it, and I'm like, yeah, okay, cool. But yeah, that was the first time I ever did a mic check in front of more than the mirror.
Yeah.
So that was weird, and I'm generally quite a quiet person. I don't really. I'm quite introverted, so I quite like to sit and listen to conversations. So I had to stand there and completely belt it out, check 1 2, all that sort of stuff.
Wow.
And yeah, like Graham and Alan came up to me afterwards and was like, "Oh, I didn't expect that from you." So
that's good.
So yeah, that was cool. It was kind of like a baptism of fire in a way. So
well, we said this with Graham when he came on, is that you can learn to play guitar and you can learn to play drums, you can learn to be a singer, but actually the teching job, there's no proper course. Yeah. There's no route to get to that point. It's complete deep end, isn't it?
I was going to say the same thing. It's a deep end drop, isn't it?
There's no rule. Well, there's kind of a rule book, but there's no.
As you just explained.
You just
go.
Get chucked in at the deep end.
I hope I'm not jumping the gun here, but I've got to ask you: have you had a world-class nightmare, or have you been pretty lucky so far?
I've had a few. Yeah. Nothing major.
Because I know those when something goes wrong, like 1 second lasts
half an hour. Yeah.
And you're just like, oh, what is it?
Yeah, and then you watch it back on YouTube, and it's like, oh, was that it? What was I worrying about?
Yeah, well, exactly.
I have had that. Every tech's had that. You have your good days, and you have your off days.
Is it usually the same problem? Is it like a power issue normally, or is it?
it's, as Graham said, it's some, you think, oh my god, that amp's gone. It's like, no, the lead's fallen out, and it's literally that sometimes. And I can remember, this is sort of jumping forward a little bit. I was out with Carcass, and Graham was working with Ghost, and they were actually on the stage after us.
Awesome.
And I had a problem with stage left guitar. So they all, I had an hour to sort of set up and sound check, which is bliss. Because normally you only get 20 minutes or so, and you're rushing around like a blow-off fly and everything. But to actually have an hour to set everything up, get the sound you want, it's just like, okay, cool, well, I've got this. This is fine. We did the drums, we did the bass guitars, everything was fine. Everything was all cool. Everything was on battery because it was before they actually had Graham had gone in and given them pedal boards and all that sort of stuff. And the intro tape was on, go for the first song, stage left guitar wasn't working. Oh no. And I was like, oh shit.
And then they were looking at you, are they?
Do you get the instant stares, the instant
yeah,
oh no, death stares.
Yeah, and annoying now, I kind of gave them all the thumbs up, which I always do. It's just like, you all right, everything all good? They're like, yeah, it's all fine. And they all give you the thumbs up. I was like, brilliant, this would be nice and easy. No. So I then had to run all the way around the back of the stage. Graham obviously was there setting up and getting all this sort of stuff. He sort of noticed that something was up and everything, so he sort of came over and was like, everything. I was like, no, it's not bloody working. So took all the leads out, plugged just like the tuner in, it worked. So I was like, right, let's get past the first song, I'll plug everything else back in and try and figure out what the hell's going on. So we do that, get through the first song, I then go back, plug it all in again, works fine. I haven't got a clue what was wrong, so it was probably something stupid, like I hadn't plugged in a lead properly, because, it happens. And whilst I was doing that and sort of sorting it all out, while they're going to the second or third song or whatever it was, I look up and I see Graham on stage picking up the mic from the singer, because it just drooped down because it hadn't been tightened up properly. Okay. And I was just like, shit, it's going to be one of those gigs, isn't it? I mean, that's the only things that actually happened. And the only other annoying thing was because it was an outside festival. The Swiss Chris, as Graham mentioned on his one, he does all the lighting and all the smoke and everything, and he was just flooding the stage with as much smoke as possible, so I couldn't see a thing. So I had a complete nightmare. It's just like, great, I can hear everything, but I've just got a wall of white smoke in front. I was like, for God's sake. So I had to keep running around and everything. So yeah, that was my most disastrous gig. I've obviously had stuff like broken strings and that kind of stuff. I've had a bass drum that's just crept forward throughout the entire song and set and everything, so I've had to go on and whilst he's playing, trying to get it all back to where it was and stuff. So I've done all of that, and that's part and parcel of it, unfortunately, because if you're using rental gear, you don't know. It's not your stuff, so you don't know how to set it all up.
Because you were saying before we pressed record, you've been in Japan.
Yes, so I've been out there twice now.
You can't get all your gear to Japan, can you? It's all rental, is it? Do you get guitars out there?
Guitars go out there.
Guitars, yeah.
So if we're flying out to somewhere, if we're doing what's known as a fly date, we will take guitars. We'll take 2 main guitars, a spare guitar, and we'll take a bass guitar, as well as their pedals.
No spare bass?
No, because it's very rare, touch wood, that the bass players that I work with actually break a bass string.
Because they're probably low, fat strings, aren't they?
Well, exactly, yeah. They're not pansy little 9s on a Strat or whatever, so they're not going to break. And luckily, like Jeff from Carcass, he plays with a pick, but he plays very lightly. He's not really thrashing at it.
You expect a band like that to be like...
I know, I was just thinking I could say the same thing. That's crazy.
Yeah. But he's got there's a guitar sounds amp thing that he uses that I've no idea if he still uses it. I'm going back to sort of 2013, and that thing is that's filthy, absolutely filthy.
Literally a sounds amp like we got on the list.
It's not that one. There's another one that they do.
There's a big one with 3 channels on it and stuff. Is that? Yeah,
it's not. Nice. No, it's not that. It's actually a guitar pedal instead of a bass pedal. So which is why it makes.
We're getting very geeky.
Yeah, very geeky. Sorry. Yeah. Sorry. Oh, sorry.
There's more to come.
Wow. Yeah.
So yeah, he uses that. He uses a pick, and he uses. He's quite a light player.
Well, I think that's the definition of. We were talking about this with Haley, weren't we? like, I think probably the definition of good technique is to put in just enough as you need to get the sound you want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he sounds. Oh, sorry, I've got a dodgy. Can you hear that?
We,
He's probably got. It sounds like he's got a good technique because he knows how much effort he needs to put
Yeah,
in.
exactly.
that's right.
So he's doing all of the death metal growling whilst trying to play as well. So he's going to put more effort into actually doing the singing and all that sort of stuff than actually thrashing a bass.
So which bands have you worked with then? So you mentioned Angel Witch.
So yeah, I've worked with Angel Witch, who I'm still currently working with. I've been with them since 2011, so 7 years now.
Wow.
7, yeah. I worked with Carcass for about a year. A band called Orange Goblin. Again, Graham's worked with them as well. Which again, it's all very incestuous. We all know each other, and we all sort of use each other.
Well, they trust you. That's why. Isn't it?
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So when Graham couldn't do stuff for Angel Witch, he was like, "Get Adam to do it. You'll be fine." Because he went off with Ghost and got very busy doing that. And then same with Orange Goblin. Again, he was just like, I'm with Ghost. I can't really do that. Give Adam a call. I'm sure he'll be able to go on the road for 3 weeks with you, and you'll be in the safest hands ever. Blah blah blah, all that sort of stuff. So yeah, those three I've worked with. A band called Gentleman's Pistols, which is another band that Bill is in, which is a very much a sort of a 70s kind of new wave of British heavy metal kind of thing. Again, very, very cool, really lovely guys, a lot of fun. I've done that, and some ever so slight work with a band called Grand Magus as well.
Oh yeah, cool.
So,
I know them, yeah, excellent.
So yeah, they're the bands that I have worked with. And
How do you? I remember when me and you had a chat about you, because you're a teacher and all that sort of stuff, and then you got these gigs, and I was asked you how did you balance them. I'm going to ask you the same question. How does that work with work? They're looking for comments, you know what I mean? But I know it's still work, but it's
it does sound like it can be a nightmare, but depending on when the gigs are. So, for example, a fly-out show, you would normally go the day before the gig. You do the gig and you come back the day after. Yeah. Normally it's at a weekend. The gig's on the Saturday, so I've only got to take a Friday off. That's cool. That's absolutely fine. Yeah. There's no problem with me doing that.
Yeah, that's great.
If I'm ever doing something that's longer than that, if it's just a week, I can just book the time off and they're fine with it, as long as I've got cover to look after all the practice rooms and stuff. And if it's longer than that, like 2-3 weeks, then sometimes I'll have to take unpaid leave and stuff.
Yeah.
So it works. It's not like I'm out all the time. And normally it's during the summer when there's no students and I'm not as busy as I am during term time. So it works. And when I started there, they wanted me to work there because obviously I knew how to set everything up and do all of that sort of stuff. But they also wanted someone that was still active in the industry, who still was out there doing gigs and fixing stuff and all that kind of thing.
You can't beat experience, can you?
Yeah, exactly.
Teaching, you know what I mean? So.
Yeah, and it's like when I first started there, I was there for about a month and a half. So it kind of got to about beginning of February, and I had a 2-week tour in Europe that I had booked in sort of the summer before. So this was with Angel Witch and Grand Magus. So I was driving the van around. And we were going to all the European venues, and mainly in Germany, funnily enough, because they love it out there.
Oh yeah.
So we did that, and like that was one of the first times that I'd ever properly driven
on the other side of the road.
Oh
god, I still can't do that.
Yes,
I hate doing that.
I got that. I got 2 weeks of that on Sunday.
Is Australia the same side or the other side?
Australia's all normal, normal.
Yeah.
So is Japan, actually.
Is it?
Yeah.
That's interesting. Also, Japanese cars, they literally just send them straight over.
Yeah.
That's right, Japanese. Yeah, the old Japanese imports, yeah. It's cool.
Anyway, sorry.
So, yeah, no, that's fine. So, yeah, and once the students sort of realised, why aren't you going to be here for the next 2 weeks? I was like, because I'm going out on tour. I'm going around Europe for a couple of weeks. Like, oh, that's cool.
Oh, my God, my teacher's actually cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not even one of their teachers. I'm just some Burke who gives them mics when they want them. So yeah, and they get a real kick out of that. And as soon as I come back, they're all like, "Oh my god, what was it like?" And then exactly. And it was just like, well, it was a lot of snow, and it was loud. slept a lot, all that sort of stuff. But yeah, they're like, oh, so what's touring really like? And you know, as Graham said, in number 4, what's it called?
See, Adam listens.
This is good. This is one of
Well, it's only 'cause
one of the 5 who do.
Because I listened to them last night.
The pressure of doing one.
Well, yeah, no, exactly. I was like,
Forces to listen.
What have I let myself in for? Yeah, sometimes it depends on the band. It depends on where you're travelling. But sometimes it is literally you'll see the inside of a van, you'll see a crappy petrol station, you'll see the inside of a venue, the inside of a hotel, and the van again.
It's not always a glamorous tour bus then.
No, I've not actually done a tour bus yet.
Because that's the image you think tour.
Well, yeah, that's what when you first start. That's what you aspire to, possibly.
Well, that's what you see on TV, isn't it?
Yeah,
but
they're so expensive.
Yeah.
Because you've got to have at least 2 drivers. So when one's driving, the other one's asleep, and then they can just swap over, and it's seamless.
And you can't do that on a normal license. It's got to be a proper driver, is it, to drive a bus?
One of those, because it's more than 3.5 ton or whatever it is. So, so yeah, that's. I can't remember.
It's hard though. You don't want to break these kids' spirits straight away.
Well, you don't, but you also kind of want to at least tell them that this is how you get there. This is the next step. The next step is you rent out a Sprinter from, you know, Matt Snowball's or John Henry's or whatever up in London. You put all your backline in there and you drive around, and that's it. Mm-hmm. You stay in a hotel. You might have a day off. You might spend that entire day travelling, but you know you're at least travelling through Germany or driving through the Alps.
If you're doing all the driving, all the tech, and all the stage stuff as well, when do you chill out? Because you got to do all the pack down at the end as well, have you?
I've got to do it. Yeah, basically.
Wow.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
But after the 3rd gig, you're into a rhythm of it.
Yeah.
So the first few, you kind of take it a little bit easier. You kind of get into it. Like, oh, okay.
When do you do your sleeping? Do you know? Do you tend to drive overnight? Or?
While driving,
just with one eye open, it's just
one of those skills of adapting.
So normally we don't drive overnight. We would drive during the day. So we would get a hotel in the same city as the venue or the gig or the next one over. We would at least drive an hour or so. After the gig, that's all right. They're all sort of in the back. Like pissed and, you know, falling asleep. So it's actually quiet for a change, and I can just sort of open the window a little bit. I'm like, no, okay, this is all right. I can do this for another hour. So, yeah, I do my sleeping after I've packed down. We've got to the hotel.
What time do you normally get to the hotel?
Depends. It's one of those ones. Some days you can get to the hotel before midnight. Some days before 11.
Oh, so the pack down doesn't take too long then?
It depends on where you are on the bill. If you're... Yeah. So for that first run I did in Europe with Angel Witch and Graham Agus, we were it was a co-headline thing. So we were second on the bill. 3 bands, we were second up. So I would pack down all of our stuff and get it all ready to go. If I could put it in the van, I would just chuck it in the van. But the way that one worked is we were in the van, but the other 2 bands were on a bus with a trailer. So they had all of the gear. We only had sort of guitars and pedals and stuff. So we didn't have a lot with us. So luckily we didn't have a lot to pack down. So it was just our bags, guitars, and we were off. So it depended on how long the drive was the next day. If it was like a 3-hour drive, then it's fine. We don't have to go straight away. We can help with pack up at the end and all that sort of stuff. But if it's like a 6-8 hour drive, then we would go pack down. I would sort of chill out for half an hour after I've sort of sorted everything out and I know where everything is. Then we would go to the hotel. The other bands were like, that's cool, that's fine. You're doing a lot of driving as well as teching, so it kind of
cool. That's cool.
So that's kind of where I get my sleep.
Wow. Sounds fun though.
It's a lot of fun.
That's what I was going to say. At the end of the day, it's doing something you adore and love.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
And it's great, isn't it? You know what I mean? The small times I've done it myself, not teching but playing and doing lots of gigs in a row, you're just on a natural high. You're just excited to be alive, and it's new towns, new places, and everything's fun, and it's like it's great, It's meeting new people all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
New conversations. It's a lovely feeling. So
you get into a venue and you sort of figure out you find out the sort of the in-house crew and all that sort of thing. You go and introduce yourself.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't do it. A lot of people will just sort of go in, set their stuff up and keep themselves to themselves. I don't. I will go in and I'll make sure that I will find the stage manager or production manager for the venue or whatever, and I'll go in and I'll say, I'm Adam, I'm the backline tech. Have you got our stage plot and all that sort of stuff, and we will go from there.
Do they normally have it when we do that? They normally say, no, we haven't got that.
Oh no, that happens all the time.
It's so annoying.
Even though they've
we sent
emailed it 5 times.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
So how many singers you got?
Yeah, exactly.
16. Oh god, yeah. No, I remember doing that. I remember with last band in Australia, I was in Barefoot Sundays. We were simple, 3-piece, easy. It was easy. You know what I mean? And you could just draw it in 8 seconds. And that's ended up what we used to do. Just draw it for them. There, you've definitely got it now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're playing in 40 minutes. Bang.
When you could be really precise on them, but it's only ever a guide, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's only ever a guide. You give them a channel list, but it's never what they're going to use.
Channel list, what mics ideally you'd like.
Yeah.
And then that goes there, that goes there. We want power here and here. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And then I do the rest.
Yeah.
So
front of stage power. It's not much to ask for, is it?
No.
Just something to plug your
gig.
pedalboard into. Just, used to do my head in. Always a bloody Maplins buying extension leads and losing them every gig.
That's normally the venue. I love that.
Yeah,
nice in
that
you.
is it.
Very nice.
Oh dear.
So yeah, the touring life is not as glamorous as you think it is in some aspects, but you're touring the world. You're travelling around Europe. You're going to Russia. You're going to South America or whatever. So you get some shows or some flight dates where the hotel's in the middle of a industrial unit, so there's nothing about. So there's literally nothing you can do. So all you got to do is sit in the hotel. But then you'll have other hotels that are just completely in the middle of everything.
Yeah.
So you can just go out for a walk and stuff.
Cool.
And the last time I was in Tokyo, which was last July, we flew out on the Thursday, landed on the Friday morning. We were at the hotel by about lunchtime. The gig wasn't until Sunday night. So I had all of Friday afternoon, all of Saturday and Sunday morning to actually go around.
Let me guess. You went guitar shopping.
Yeah, of course I did. Of course I did.
Spot the Ibanez.
Yeah, that entire back wall. There we go. Spot the ESPs. That wall. But yeah, we got to the hotel and everyone's like, "Oh, I'm really tired. I'm jet lagged." I was like, "Well, yeah, no, I am a little bit, but I'm going to have a little wander around."
But I'm in Tokyo.
Yeah, exactly. So they all went to bed and were like, "Oh, we'll be back up. We'll be awake again about 4ish. We'll sort something out then." And I was like, "All right, I'll see you later. I'm going to the 7-Eleven, getting a bottle of water and a stupid Japanese drink called Pocari Sweat, which sounds horrible, but it's actually quite nice." And I just wandered around. I spent 2 weeks looking on TripAdvisor, the nice places to go. And my mate Alan, who used to work for the band, he goes out there with work because he works for Mitsubishi. So he goes out there and he spent 2 weeks out there in the April before I went out there. And he was just like, "Go and get a rail card." I was like, "They're cheap as chips." And then he said, "Just go and explore." I was like, "They'll just sit there. They won't really do anything. But you're in Tokyo for 2 days. Just go around." And I was like, "Oh, okay, fair enough." So yeah, I found all the nice temples to go to. And he's like, "Go to Asakusa and go up seeing that because that's big and it's beautiful and all that sort of stuff." So I did all of that. I don't think I saw the band on the Saturday.
No, you've seen them before.
Well, no, exactly.
You know what they look like.
Exactly, they're boring. So yeah, I got up at like 9:30. I was like, right, I'm going to be out the door by 10.
Yeah,
and I didn't get back to the hotel until about 8 o'clock at night. And I just spent all day walking around and taking pictures, and everyone's just like, oh, I'm quite jealous that you did that.
Yeah,
so,
it sounds like you did it right, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And then the rest of the band and the guys were like, I didn't see that. I was like, well, of course you didn't. It's because you were in bed. So yeah, they're kind of getting better. They're actually sort of exploring a bit more, and I'm definitely doing a lot more than I used to. So I went to Madrid earlier in the year and sort of wandered around there, and we were in Chile in May, I think it was, mid-May. We went out to Toronto to do a gig, and then we flew down to Chile and did a festival there. And we were in Santiago, so we were in the capital. So we wandered around there, and we had a few days there to wander around. So
amazing.
Yeah.
These are all places. I've been lucky enough to go to a few places, but like Tokyo is on my list.
It's amazing.
Chile's on my list. Chile's one of the places you can surf in the morning, take a swift drive up the mountains, and snowboard in the afternoon.
Yeah.
That's just perfect. That's paradise on earth, surely.
Yes. Yeah.
But
the only problem with it is normally you're only there for like a day or two.
Yeah,
so you can't really go and really explore.
You prioritise.
Yeah, exactly. Which is what I did with Tokyo, and I was so happy with that.
At the end of the day, you're still there doing a job.
Yeah.
Someone's paying you. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm being paid there
to. You've got to be
to.
on the money, on the ball, sort of thing.
Exactly. So I had put loads of pictures. I'm probably sure you saw them.
Oh yeah, massively, yeah.
Yeah, I put loads of pictures up on the Sunday. I was like, oh, I'm actually here for a gig, and I started putting pictures up of that and everything. So yeah, that was going out to Tokyo especially to do gigs, because there's another world out there.
So that's your number one destination.
Number one destination is Tokyo, yeah, or well, Japan in general.
What number two?
Number two, probably. I really like Norway.
All right.
Norway's beautiful. I've not been to Norway for probably about 3 years now, but it's expensive, but it's a beautiful country. So I really like going there. So I would very, very much like to go there again. Where else? Where else have I been? Russia's a bit mental.
Yes, another place. Yeah, Russia.
I did 3 shows out there with Carcass. That was
Some of the
interesting.
The record-breaking crowd figures gigs in Russia,
like in the Red Square and stuff.
Yeah, like didn't Pantera do a massive show there?
Metallica did one there as well. That was like half a million.
Thousands of people turned up. Yeah, it's mad.
Yeah.
But they're in Brazil, big Brazil of.
Yeah, all South America.
Huge
mental.
Turn up, yeah.
So I got to do Colombia with Carcass, and they were just doing another festival. So I spent a weekend in Colombia, as you do. And yeah, I think we spent more time actually travelling there and back than we did in the country, which was crazy. It's a lot of travelling, but for a lot of for a cool gig. I've never been out there before, and the crowds out there are just insane. So they will sing along to every note. They will sing along every lyric. They will do all the little trills. They'll do everything. They will sing just everything.
Is it because the band doesn't get there very often? So when the bands are
pretty
there,
much,
and
they
everyone
go
turns
mental.
up.
Yeah. And what was really, really weird is at the time I didn't know anybody out in Colombia, and I was setting up some pedals, and all I could hear was someone shouting out my name. And I was like, turning around, looking behind me. I was like, what are you on? Doing something. I was just like, all right, no one's actually saying anything. Turns out it was actually someone in the crowd was actually calling my name out.
A fan?
I don't know. I haven't got a clue. So there was someone in the crowd calling, but they were calling my entire name. So they were shouting out Adam Chmarny. I was just like...
So they got it wrong as well, it's not just me.
Yeah,
no, it's as I said, everybody gets it wrong. It's fine. I don't care anymore.
As long as it wasn't your mum. You've forgotten your lunch. That's my mum used to do that all the time. Rock up at places. You've forgotten your lunch. Oh God, you've forgotten this. Thanks, mum.
Yeah.
That's how crazy the fans are. Then they know
they go so deep.
That's attention to detail.
That is attention to detail.
Knowing the techie and all that.
And it's all because obviously I put stuff up on Instagram. I take pictures and tag it all and all that sort of stuff. So they've obviously found that and gone through that. And
then again,
and all that sort of stuff.
For a super fan, I consider you a super fan. You know, you don't mind waiting around after a show and trying to get the set list and stuff like that. You've done that.
I love finding set lists.
But those are the people you need to know. People like yourself.
You're on about a perfect circle, aren't you?
Yeah, I am. Not that
we saw them in Brixton.
Oh, okay.
That was bloody brilliant.
They were rubbish.
Carl wasn't very well, so Carl.
I just had the old operation on my face.
Oh, right. Oh, okay.
I couldn't make it, and I was
gutted. But it was heaving in Brixton.
Oh, we called it Brixton.
It was heaving. So me and my brother Rob went, and we were at the where the sound desk is, like maybe a quarter away from the back. Mm-hmm. We were there, but it was so busy. I was pinned up against the speakers.
Oh man.
And then right behind me, of course, was the sound man behind the desk. And as you walked out, I said, "Can I have your set list, mate?" Because he was just like, it was just on there, and he's like,
yeah, that's fine.
So
yeah.
I took it with me.
Yeah,
That's cool.
the thing is, with Angel Witch, I'm always the guy that prints out the set list, so I always make sure that we've got one for me, one for the sound guy, and at least 4 for the band and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, throwing out set lists and picks, I love doing that. It's great fun. just pick. Sometimes they can be really, really cheeky, and I'm sort of coining leads, and it's a festival gig, so I've got to get off the stage as quickly as I possibly can. There's 15-20 minute changeover, so I've got to get everything off quickly, and all they're doing is just shouting oi 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 oi, and it's just like, I'm doing something. Funnily enough, I'll get these off.
Working.
Yeah, hold your horses. I've got to come and get those in a minute anyway. So if you want one, that's fine. But yeah, doing that sort of stuff on really big gigs, it's so much fun.
Yeah,
throwing picks out.
Little fetish for causing miniature riots. Chucking a pick into the audience and 20 grown men going, oh!
Yeah, it's good fun though.
Yeah, it's good.
But if you don't throw drumsticks out, because obviously they hit someone in the eye, then you're liable for it and all that sort of stuff. So if I've ever done it, I've done it really underarm and sort of flat and sorry, and just sort of looked at them and they're like, yay! Give me the thumbs up and make sure everything's all right and stuff. So yeah,
That's great.
yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Wow, yeah, your big drums are gone.
I've got a question about your guitar setup differently to my guitar.
Yep.
So hold on.
Oh.
A bit of context here.
Oh, sorry.
Tell us what you're holding, Adam.
I am holding a jazz bass that I made, I think 4 years ago, from parts from Warmouth and Aguilar pickups and all that sort of
Can we
stuff.
post a link?
Is there a link to a picture?
Yes, it's all on my Facebook page and all of that sort of stuff.
Okay,
So,
cool.
so we can do that.
Okay.
I like the bass
That's very-
pawn.
Yes, got a
That's
little bit
very
of bass pawn. So yeah, this is something that I put together over, I think it was about 6 to 8 months. I really want a nice jazz bass. I want a nice passive jazz bass. Let's dig about and see what I can find. So I've used Warmouth before, and if you've not used them before, basically they're Fender licensed parts, so like bodies and necks, and you can either get them unfinished or you can get them finished in their sort of showcase and all that sort of stuff. And you can make your quote unquote dream bass, which I did with this basically. So I got a 2-piece Swamp Ash body, a nice flame maple neck with binding and rosewood and all that sort of
very
stuff.
nice, isn't it?
And yeah, put it together sort of over.
I've just noticed your little thumb rest on the back pickup there.
Yes, I got that from the Moon bass that I bought in Tokyo the first time I went out there. So this is a 5-string jazz bass because I love jazz basses. I think they're just, for me, I think they're sort of the perfect bass. And it's got this little rosewood thumb rest by the bridge pickup, and I absolutely love that. I fell in love with that when I first saw it. I was like, oh, that's really cool. So when I was making this one, a year or so later, I was like, I'll make one of those. Mm-hmm. So I put that on there. It's not as tall as the one on the Moon bass, but it works, and it's nice to have something planted. Have my thumb planted.
Looking at that, that's pretty much, I've got like a humbucker on the bass I use, and that's pretty much where I
exactly.
Geek alert.
Sorry. Sorry,
not sorry.
But yeah, that's... Yeah, it's nice to have comfortability in your playing.
Yeah, exactly. At the end of the day, it's for me to play, and I want it to play as nicely and as comfortable as I possibly can.
Mm-hmm. So, bearing in mind that's set up how you like to play.
Yep.
When you're a tech, obviously you have to learn.
You have to learn the person.
Yeah. So it might feel completely alien.
Yeah, exactly.
The height of the strings from the neck might be completely different, but you've got to learn that.
I've got to learn that, and I've got to replicate that every time that I either restring it or it comes, out of the aeroplane, because obviously it's going to be really cold in there, so the neck's going to move, all that sort of stuff. So I've got to learn how that person likes it, and normally it takes 3 or 4 gigs to really sort of get in tune with the guitar.
Yeah.
And it's the same with drum kits as well. All drum kit setups are all completely different.
Yeah, man.
And I can remember when I was out with Carcass in Russia, I think the last show that we did, It was just me and the drummer, and we had about 45 minutes to kill. So we had set everything up, everything was all working, and we sort of swapped around. So I sat behind the kit, had a bash about on that. He was playing guitar, and we just sort of jammed and sort of messed about. But in that 45 minutes, I'd learned every part of his drum kit.
Yeah. The angles.
Not
tom
quite
levels.
the angles. I couldn't quite replicate those perfectly, but I sat behind it, and it felt very alien and very uncomfortable to how I would set up a drum kit. So the hi-hat was quite far to the left, and all that sort of stuff. So I sat there playing along. I was like, oh, okay, so that's kind of there. I can feel where the toms are, the crashes are, and how high he has those, and where he's sort of sat. So when we were out the following weekend in Tokyo, he was doing interviews and all that sort of stuff. And I was like, oh, I'll come set the kit up in a minute. I was like, no, that's fine. I'll sort it out. So I set it all up. I was like, oh, I think that's about there. I'll put that there. I got it pretty much spot on. He sort of came up and sat by it. He was like, oh, you've done that really well. So, all right. That sounds so
You've
surprised.
actually done that
You
well.
actually done that well.
Actually, that's the second time you've had that in your life.
Exactly.
It's a
twice.
recurring thing.
Exactly. He's like, well, the angles, sort of play around with those. He's just like, yeah, that's great. Oh, I don't have to worry about that now. I'll go have a beer. I was like, all right, I'll carry on then, shall I? So yeah, setups are so personal.
It's like, but the drums are an enigma.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't get that out.
Right.
Like drum mats.
Yeah.
This is amazing. I've seen hundreds of drum mats in my time, and they've all got tape on them.
Yeah.
But it's like you don't know what goes where unless you're the actual drummer, because the tape. That's from 4 setups ago. That tape.
Yeah,
no,
exactly.
Ignore that tape. How was I supposed to know that?
Yeah, exactly.
It's so many bits of tape on this mat so that simple stands are in the right place, and you're like, oh god.
Yeah.
So it's like a bloody computer game in itself.
Pretty much, yeah.
Tetris drums. Yeah, it's all good. No, that's really interesting, learning the different people, how they play and all that sort of stuff. And
yeah, a lot of people like an ever so slightly higher action on one side of the neck. So when they do bends on the high strings, their sort of fingers go under the string. Sort of.
Oh wow! I don't even think about stuff like that.
No, I suppose
So instead of having it sort
I
of,
suppose more is
flat,
that more of a guitarist thing?
that's more of a guitarist thing. So if once they're shredding away on the 24th fret or whatever, then they bend, they can kind of get under the string and push it up. It's some people just like it as low as possible.
Well, I guess it's not just the player; it's the guitar as well. Because every make and model of guitar has a different
That's the other side of the coin. Yeah.
intricacies.
Do you think you could set up pretty much any guitar? Or any, let's talk bass, because that's what...
This is Challenge Adam.
Well, then you Challenge Adam, Tom. But
It's like Challenge Annika.
I'm just curious, is it, could you set up any guitar in a certain style? Yeah.
In theory, yeah.
Yeah, technically,
yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Essentially, that's what you do.
Yeah, exactly. At the end of the day, they're all pretty much exactly the same. 90%, but majority of basses have 4 strings. You know roughly where they need to be. All jazz basses are very easy to set up. Well, I find them very easy to set up. Same with P basses.
Well, regardless of the bridge or the tuners it's all kind of the same stuff. Isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So the actual curvature of the fretboard, the radius of the fretboard is exactly the same on a jazz bass and a P bass. I think.
Was that right? Oh, interesting.
I think so.
Okay.
I could be wrong. I'm doubting myself now.
But then I guess that means that anyone can make a bridge for it because everything's kind of the same.
Yeah,
like universality.
It's like standardising in the industry, I suppose, isn't it? Yeah.
But the industry isn't standard in any. The amount of you've got imperial, you've got metric, and it's just everything's completely different. It's an utter pain in the arse. Because you can have 3 Gibson style tunematic bridges, but they can be all completely different. But they look exactly the same, and they're for the same guitar, and it's all post spacing and all that. It's a nightmare. So you need it. There's a rabbit hole that you need to go into to figure out everything. Yeah. And I'm in there, but I have no idea how far down I am. So I'm just still going, basically. So
just like I admire doctors, I also admire people like yourself, because I can't go there. I've tried, and it's not for everyone. I like to know how things are.
Of course.
And I like to be able to do, just change strings and all that stuff. But anything further than that, I'm quite happy for someone else to do. Unless I'm out and about with no money and it has to be done. I'll have
Yeah,
a crack,
of course.
but soldering on, all right at.
Yeah, exactly.
But now I'm glad there's guys like yourself. Moving on from that, I've got my bass here.
See, this is Carl's way of getting free.
No.
At least free advice.
Could you quote on this? Now, just looking at that.
Yeah.
Talk to us about this bass, Carl. What is
This
this
is
bass?
This is my Tobias Growler.
So have you ever heard a Two-Pay album? This is it, is it?
Yeah, this bass is played on probably 90% of the stuff I recorded.
I'm a Caroline's.
I'm a Caroline's. I've used this on Caroline's. It's just my go-to bass. It just feels nice. It's got an slightly ellipsed D neck. I don't know if this seems fatter at the top than it is at the bottom. Which is, I think it's what my hand naturally sits in. It's just hammered. It's been everywhere. The headstock snapped off twice.
While you're chatting, I'm going to take pictures, so ignore me.
I've got a snappage on one of the
pots.
Pots has snapped off like half because it's a double.
Oh, stacked up. Yeah.
It's just hammered. It's just old. The jack input cracks every time I move, which is like it drives you insane. Even though I've changed it time and time again, I don't know if I'm doing it correct. I've had to put stickers in places where my nails with this board pops off. And that's when I naturally pull the strings around.
Slapping and popping,
and smash my nails. But you know what I mean. But it still works. It still feels great.
Yeah.
And it just needs a little
TLC, a little bit of
TLC,
a little bit of love.
And I wish I had the inclination all the time. But what I do have is I do have a job which earns me money. I can give to yourself.
There we go. Look at that.
But that's something you'd work with that, would you?
Yeah, I should be able to do that. It should be.
Is it is that a changer or would you drill?
So you would buy
with pot we're talking now.
Yeah, so the broken pot you can buy those.
Yeah,
they're quite easy to find. Again, they're ever so slightly different with the values of what they are, but I'm guessing it's an active circuit, so it will need a certain kind of part and all that sort of stuff. So
don't get my horrible white hairy knee in the photo too.
No, I'll Photoshop that out.
So
I'll put a little smiley face in it or something. There we go, pose animal.
But
so that can be swapped out quite I say quite easily. It does take a bit of time. Bit of soldering. It's a little bit.
And is that the service you'd offer? Like you take a look.
Yeah, I can offer that service.
You quote for a price and then to go and take it away, and that's essentially it, isn't it?
Basically, yeah. Pretty much.
So how much money is Carl looking at? Couple £100?
So full setup I do for £50. Strings are then on top of that, obviously, because
preference, different choice, and all that sort of stuff.
So if you've got a set, then chuck them in. If not, I can go and get a set for whatever gauge you want. And then obviously if I then need to get parts for like pots or nuts or whatever, then I've got to charge for fitting those as well as the actual part. So to get that up and running.
Don't feel pressured.
Ballpark, because you might regret it.
Ballpark, okay, so you're looking between, as the most it will cost will be about 120 quid.
Yeah.
There we go,
that's good. That's good.
You did a great job for me putting a new battery hole in.
This
is my crap. I know.
In your jazz bass.
Yeah, you put a new battery hole in.
I did, yes. So it's a Highway 1 jazz bass. I can remember you getting, because you got the jazz bass as well as the P bass at the same time.
I was celebrating 10 years of playing. That's what I did.
That was
I bought a P bass and jazz bass at the same time.
Oh, that's good.
Matching. So
I just got a tattoo. Boring. Sorry.
You then put was it John East?
John East preamp.
Yeah, John East preamp, where you take the old control plate out of a jazz bass, and then you drop this new one in, and the battery sort of sits snugly underneath
Which
it.
is a right pain.
Which is a right pain in the arse.
Because the hole was slightly too small, basically. Wasn't it? The cavity was too small.
Ever so slightly too small. So what I did for you is I got a proper battery box. I think it was a Goto battery box, which is a Japanese company that are very, very good and makes the tuners on this bass and the bridge on it are all Goto, because it's Japanese, so it's very, very good and very high quality. So Music Man used those, and everybody sort of used those battery boxes. They're sort of an industry standard. So we got that for you, and then I had to obviously route the hole to actually fit it into the body. So yeah, I did that for you.
It's like I wouldn't have no idea.
See, routing and all that, that's what I do for a living.
Yeah.
You know, work, sign writing in the daytime, so all that sort of stuff. I enjoy that. Like,
oh yeah, I absolutely love routing.
It's
Yeah,
great.
brilliant.
Sign writing is
bit more
different
pressure.
to sign writing, and we always have this chat.
What's that? Sign?
Like when sometimes you need to turn BBC Two on at 2:00 in the morning.
Oh, and there's a lady doing
someone sign writing.
Yeah, that's very different. I wish I could do that. But no, sadly no. No. Just and obviously some of the guitars nowadays are made on these huge flatbed routers.
Oh yeah, so they're all CNC routed and
CNC,
stuff.
Exactly. Watching go on YouTube actually for any of the bass geeks out there and look at the Warwick.
What does CNC mean?
I don't know what it stands for, but isn't it a brand? CNC routers?
No, it's computer navigated cutter. I don't know, something like that.
Right.
It's amazing. These things with these ultra sharp blades that just vacuum down to a bed, much like the flatbed printers that we run, and they they cut out any shape you want out of.
And it will change from like a really big sort of router bit that's like a quarter of an inch or something down to something tiny, so you can get the really nice corners and all that sort of stuff.
Oh, wow.
So basically, like the 3D printer.
Yeah.
But instead of building on nothing, you've got a hunk of wood and you take it back.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
You hog it all out and So all manufacturers, Fender, Gibson, Music Man, because it's so precise, because the computer's doing it and cutting it all out, it takes out all the human error.
And it's quicker.
Oh, yeah.
Quicker.
Cheaper.
Yeah. It's bloke's got to press a button to start it.
But there's less love in the instrument.
Yeah, maybe. Don't know.
Yeah,
I
suppose, but
I think the love's in the fingers.
There's no sweat in the wood.
Do you know what I mean? Like I think one guy can play a bass, and be all right, and another guy can play the same bass and just lay it down and be just awesome. I think all that, it's
all about feel.
Yeah, it's all about feel and hopefully not so much about the instrument. But I do understand there are better feeling instruments than others. But, it's like that's why I keep that bass. It feels just so right to me, and I can't find anything to upgrade it or anything. You know what I mean? And that's why I like to keep it alive. So
well, exactly, yeah. And that's what I do. I enjoy not taking people's guitars, but I enjoy fixing people's guitars up.
Do you enjoy doing my guitar? Because you've seen it about 15 times.
Depends on which one you're talking about.
what do you do to them?
He plays them very hard.
That's good. Yeah, well, that's how they should be.
But luckily with your ones, it's very. I wouldn't say simple things to do, but it's very minor things to do.
Yeah.
Like I think the last time you came round, you bought three basses, and it was all jack socket problems.
Yeah.
So it was just nice and easy. They got a bit corroded, so I just polished them up, and they work now.
Yeah.
I hope.
They're great. It's great.
And then I changed the jack socket on the jazz bass, didn't I?
Which is great. It's perfect.
And so it's just sort of stuff like that some people they don't know how to do.
That's it, but
talking about something I don't know how to do.
Oh God.
Right, I know podcast is an audio format.
Yep.
Not very visual.
Mm-hmm.
So this might be difficult, but how the hell does a truss rod work?
Okay.
I haven't a clue.
So a truss rod, there are two types of truss rod. There's a single action truss rod or a double action truss rod.
So my Ricky's got two. Is that a double action?
They're two single action truss rods,
Right.
I believe.
All right.
I'm not sure, but I think either that or the Elric does have two.
Yeah, so this has got a double action truss rod. So it's mainly vintage guitars that only have a single action truss rod. Sort of the double action one, I think, sort of started appearing around sort of late 70s, early 80s. And basically what that does, so a single action truss rod in any guitar, obviously when you tune it up, the tension of the strings are going to pull the neck away. There's going to be a big bow and sort of turn it into a banana, basically. And what a truss rod does is it counteracts that. Okay. So there's a rod in there that's bent.
Oh, so it's not a straight bit of metal. It's a bowed.
A single action truss rod is bowed.
Yeah.
Because once you tighten it up, so it would be bowed like a like a smiley face.
Yeah.
And as you tighten it up, it will get straighter and it will bend the other way. So it then brings back the
so you're not
headstock.
twisting it, you're tightening it to change the actual shape of the truss rod.
Exactly, yeah. So you're tightening it up to then, in theory, make it shorter, which then brings the headstock back, which is where you can get your action, basically.
Okay. So which way do you turn the thing to make it one way or the other?
It's either one way or the other. So before I get to that, the double action truss rod will do that, but it will also push the truss rod the other way. So if your your neck is too... Oh, hang on.
Was it convex or concave?
It does both. So instead of only having the ability to bring it back, it can bring it back, but it can also push it forward.
Which the other one can't do.
Which the other one can't do. The only way to push it forward is the tension of the strings.
So with a single action truss rod,
yes.
Is that the word? Single action truss rod. Once you bend it too far, can you not bend it back the other way?
Depends on the instrument. Depends on if you've done it so much that you then break the truss rod. Then obviously it's knackered and you have to either replace the truss rod, which is really costly, or you just, if it's a fender, then just get another neck. But in theory, you can tighten it up too much and you can screw the neck up, and so you can, but you've got to do a lot of you've got a lot of turns to it, and there's a lot of people that sort of come to me and it's just like, oh, I never touched the truss rod, I'm too scared of it.
Yeah, that's me.
I think that's one of the biggest fears especially for beginners and stuff like that. And as a beginner, you want your guitar set up really nicely.
Yeah, of course.
Otherwise, it can be completely off-putting. Like I remember getting told to start on a classical.
Yeah.
And I was just like, this is too hard. This is too weird and rubbery, and the strings move too much.
It's too wide, but it's easier on your fingers because they're softer strings.
So it's kind of obviously there's a preference thing there, but you want truss rods are important, but they're a bit of a mythical piece.
It's like black magic. Oh, you can do truss rods. Oh, okay. Same with intonation. Oh, you know how to do that. Oh, yeah, it's not really.
But I kind of understand intonation because that is literally you want the exact centre of the string over the exact centre of the neck.
Pretty much, yes. So you want the everything past the 12th fret to play in tune.
Yeah, which means you've got to get the 12th fret lined up as the middle of the string.
Yeah.
So which is basically you just change the length of the string to make sure that happens.
Yeah. So
I can visualise that, so I understand that. Whereas a truss rod, because it's all hidden, I can't.
Yeah. No. So the rod's completely hidden. It's in the middle of the neck. You can't see it. You'll just see the nut at the end of either the headstock end or the heel end. But if it is playing really badly in either the sense that the action's all of a sudden really high, that basically means that your truss rod is too loose. So you need to tighten it up.
That means too bent?
Yes.
Okay.
So it again, if you looked at it sort of side on with the strings facing upward, it would look like a smiley face.
Okay.
And so that means that the string, there's too much, or that the tension of the strings is pulling the neck forward too much. So you need to tighten the truss rod up, and you put you find your Allen key for it, or screwdriver or whatever it is the instrument's got, and you would turn it to the right.
Righty tighty, lefty loosey.
Exactly, yes. Righty tighty, lefty loosey. So you would do a quarter turn.
Yeah.
And then if you sight down the neck, so if you sort of put the bottom strap button on your feet, and you had it upright and you looked down with your more dominant eye, because obviously when you close one eye, one's...
Yeah.
So for me, it's my right eye because I'm right-handed. You close your left eye and sight down the neck, and you will see the straightness of the string, and you'll see how bowed the neck is.
Okay.
And you tighten it a quarter of a turn, and then you have a look. Do another quarter of a turn, and you will see it slowly.
But you don't want it to be exactly straight, though, do you? You need to
depends on the instrument. Les Pauls, you want them dead straight, near enough, near as damn it. But you generally want what is known as relief in the neck, which is an ever so slight upward bow, to the neck.
Oh, upward bow, so past, so an unhappy face. So the neck starts to meet the strings.
No, no. So you still need to see that ever so slight smiley face.
Okay.
But it's a very, very little smirk, basically. So yeah, there's a little bit of a dip when you're looking down it. So you'll have the straightness of the string, but you'll see an ever so slight dip in the middle, and that's ideally the best kind of relief that you want in either a bass neck or a guitar neck.
Okay.
But again, it depends on the guitar or the bass. Some Ibanez's you can have dead straight and you can completely slam the action and it won't buzz because of the how flat the fingerboard is compared to a Strat or a Tele or whatever. So it's not just, there's so much to it. There's everything to it. You know, everything affects your tone and everything.
That's the fear initially, isn't it? It's like you've got the height of the string on the bridge to the intonation and all that sort of stuff.
It's a massive balancing act.
Good, but it's a damn good thing to learn.
And it's very satisfying once you finally get it and you're like, yeah, that plays amazing. It's such a nice feeling to do.
Do you do truss rod first or intonation first?
I do intonation is the last thing I do.
Okay.
So when it comes to a setup, strings will go on, the new strings will go on, I'll tune it up to pitch, and then I'll sort the truss rod out. Because I can't play around with the action until I've got the truss rod exactly where I want it to be. Because if I then slam the action because it's playing horrible, and then I play around with the truss rod, I've then got to start with the action completely from scratch because it's now too low and it's buzzing all over the place. So you get the neck as straight as you want it, and then you start playing around with the action. And then once you've got that and it's playing nice and it's not buzzing anywhere, the last thing you do is you do the intonation, which again everybody thinks is black magic, but it's one process that you've got to do 4, 5, 6 times, depending on the instrument. So yeah.
Interesting.
It is. No, it is. It's stuff. How long have you been playing?
20 years.
Yeah, same here. Sort of, give or take, whatever. And I've never delved into it as deeply as that at all. You know what I mean? It's just, I think I've picked up a guitar. If it feels good, I buy it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I've had, and that's pretty much it. And then hopefully through time, it stays like that. And
that's what I'm, going back to the shop. That's what I used to do in the shop. I would pick up a random guitar every now and then and be like, well, that plays really badly, so I better.
So you can see past that because me and Carl, I'm guessing with Carl, it's that if a guitar doesn't play very well, you instantly put it back. But
exactly. Of course you do.
But you've got the foresight to say, well, it's just because this is it and this is it.
Exactly.
10 seconds.
Yeah.
In fact,
there's certain guitar shops you can go to that like the setup on everything is really bad, or depending on where it is and what part of the shop, if it's really hot, if it's really cold, depending on all that sort of stuff, because that completely changes
so many parameters,
so many different things. If you pick something up and it doesn't play nice, you're not going to buy it. So you need to be on top of all of that if you've got a shop like that. So you kind of need to go round and restring things once strings are dead and all that sort of stuff. So when new things came in, I mean, very rarely I would have to set anything up from the box. Shipping wise, when you are shipping a guitar, obviously it's going to sit in a van overnight, so it's going to get cold, it's going to get hot. That's what happens. So the only thing I'll ever have to really do, tweak the truss rod, tune it up, stretch the strings a little bit, and then put it out and put a price on it. So it's
Is that a good practice? Because I remember getting taught when I was younger, you put the new strings on and you literally give them a pull.
Stretching the strings literally means
tune up
stretching
again,
the strings.
and as simple as that. Yeah,
Simple as that.
That's not some bad method that someone taught me years ago.
No. That I will do that for every time I go out and do any sort of teching work. Again, this is something that Graham taught me to do. Is you spend about half an hour stretching the strings on all the guitars that you've just restrung, because wherever you are setting it all up, the temperature is going to be completely different on the stage because you're going to have all the lights. It's going to get a lot hotter, so it's going to go out of tune.
Of course. Yeah.
So you need to make sure that the slack is out of those strings. So it keeps that tension. A lot of that is to do with how you actually string your instrument and how you actually string your bass or guitar. If you only put like half a wind around the machine head, that's going to go out of tune.
Yeah.
And it will keep slipping and it won't stay in tune. But then if you put all of the windings, if you don't cut the string and you just wind and wind
and double up on the wind.
Yeah, double up. Again, you've got more chance of it slipping because one of those winds won't be tight enough and it will all of a sudden, it will slip. So you need to learn that there is a technique that I use that Ken taught me to do, that I've seen in videos that near enough all techs do. Where you put the string in, you go over the top before you then start building the winding up from the bottom, and it actually locks the string in place and it holds it there, and you give it a tug and then everything's all nice and tight and it's perfect.
All right.
So, I mean, bass machine heads, obviously you've got the sort of the hole in the middle.
Yeah, you stick the end in.
Bend it down, and then you wrap up the bottom.
But then you've got to judge the length, then, haven't you?
Yeah. The way that I judge the length, so for the E string, I will go up to the D, and then I will cut it off there, and that's all you need, and then you'll get a couple of winds like I've got on there, and that's all you need.
Yeah.
And I'll do it on all of those, so I'll measure it 2 posts up, and then cut it. So I'll do there, and so on, and depending on, obviously, I'll do that for tellies when they've got the same style machine heads. It's all the same principle, but obviously just slightly smaller because of the scale lengths and everything. So yes, restringing does actually help with your actual tuning.
Yeah.
Everyone, we've had people in before. If you don't string your guitar properly, it will slip out of tune.
And how often should you restring?
Depends on how much you play. Depends on how greasy your fingers are. Depends
sweaty
on
you are. How much
exactly.
How much chicken you eat.
I have sweaty fingers.
Oh, do you? Yeah. Are you? Yeah, I know. I wish there was someone out there who would just play my bass for like 5 hours and then hand it over. Do you know what I mean? Because brand new strings. They're nice, but I don't like.
I love brand new strings.
I like just off brand new. A little bit of
slightly dull.
Yeah,
the top ends come off a bit.
Dull,
I know what you mean.
By some minion, some dwarf that I keep. That would be awesome. I'd pay him. I'd pay that. I'd love to have a little dude in the house.
Little dwarf just sat there.
Why does that have to be a little person?
Well, I don't know. That doesn't have to be. It can be anyone. It can be anyone, but it would just be a nice, maybe be a good job for someone.
Okay, right. When I got home yesterday, this is a completely random tangent.
All right.
When I got home yesterday, I think it might be my mum, but sticking through my letterbox was a little cardboard box with a little spinny dial on the top. What are they? You got it there, Adam. What does it say? Give me the options.
The heat is on.
The heat is on.
Now we're cooking.
Good song.
Now we're cooking.
Beat the heat.
Beat the heat.
Feeling hot, hot, hot. Feel the burn. Feeling brave. Can you handle it?
And inside, you can see what we've eaten some already. Inside,
Lord.
a little chocolate, chili-shaped chocolates.
Chili-shaped chocolates.
Some of them are just plain chocolate, and some of these have got a shitload of chili. I played this with my stepdaughter Casey and Kelly yesterday.
Oh lordy!
I was trying my best. I was trying my best to be a man. I was kind of holding it together, but Kelly and Casey were both in tears, and I refused to eat any more, which is why I've still got half left. So I thought it would be a nice, fun little interlude.
Fair enough.
For us to pick one at random. I think
What's with the spinny thing?
What's with the spinny thing?
You're supposed to take it in turns and just spin it, and then they say, I've got can you handle the heat? Eat the chili, and then I eat it. But sometimes you can spin it and have like.
Oh yeah.
Feeling.
I'll pass it over.
Pass it over. Yeah, but sod that.
Give it.
That's boring.
We just go straight in for the Russian roulette
I think
style.
let's have one each. And apparently one out of every 4 is really hot.
Oh, 1, 2. He's already chosen one.
Yeah,
and don't worry about being a man here. If it's hot, it's just hot. Because remember, this is.
Well, it looks like there's something on the top of that, so that's going to be hot, isn't it?
There's one that's half eaten. I would avoid that one because that's one that Casey started and then put back.
Oh Lord.
We're doing it at the same time, or
What?
I can do it at the same time.
Yeah, smash it in.
Yeah.
All right, we ready? After 3.
All in.
Yeah, straight in. Yeah, no wussing out here. Okay, 1, 2, 3,
Go. Oh, good chocolate so far.
One's all right.
Mine's got a bit of a heat to it. You're a bit tingly.
It's building up.
It's built up and it's kind of nice.
No.
Starting to burn the back of my throat.
I think Adam drew the short straw there.
Damn it.
I think so, but it's not like I'm crying.
All right, we'll have a second one. There's 3 left.
Open that other beer now.
There's 3 left. Go on, Adam.
That's actually quite hot.
Oh, I had a straight chocolate one. I'm gutted. Oh no.
There's no visual sign. You can't study it for clues.
I'm in.
I think
Right.
there is.
3, 2.
Hang on. That's
Oh, he's got like he's been.
Where are you going?
Getting the beer. I got the fear now.
I definitely got the really hot one.
Oh no.
My mouth is on fire,
Hold on.
and no one's invited.
Here we go.
All right. Okay. Ready? After 3.
1,
1, 2,
2, 3.
3.
Oh. I'm gonna miss my mouth.
No, I'm all right.
I think I'm all right.
No. I'm all right.
We're okay.
Damn.
So out of the 6, there was 1 chilly one, and Adam had the chilly
And
one.
I had that.
Oh, can I be honest here? I was kind of hoping you'd get a second
Give me a
chilly one.
I kind of was in a weird way, but I'm glad I didn't. Thank you very much.
No, you're very welcome.
He's still suffering.
Yes, I am.
I did message you before in our little group chat. You are actually, yeah, I'm fine.
I thought you were cooking chili.
That's what I thought. I thought you
Yeah.
were offering him dinner.
No.
Not that nice, clearly.
Holy moly.
I've rendered Adam speechless now.
Oh god.
All right.
I'm
It's
really
bad when
suffering
it gets
now.
you, isn't it?
Okay. Well, while you recover, Carl and I have been busy
Yeah.
because we've been going for an hour and a half now.
Wow.
We've been going for an hour and a half. We don't want to inflict the listeners too much more.
Although
it's been lovely having you.
thank you.
It's been highly informative.
Carl and I have been busy, and as our trio, Caroline's Capuchin. Yeah, it's a trio, isn't it?
Yeah, it is true.
The three of us. We released a new song, which I thought would be nice to stick on the podcast.
Which is in demo.
And also, we say new, but it's literally over a year old, but I haven't told anyone this.
Yeah, we can't. It was. We started fooling around, didn't we? When we had a gig back then, around that sort of time, we started having a little rehearsal and we had a little jam, and you had some parts, and you sent some parts over to Robbie for some drums, and put some bass down on it, and sort of mixed it up and cut it up and stuff. And in the old studio, but it's very demo based at the minute, especially like sound quality. But I'm pleased with the direction it's going.
So we thought it would be nice just to put you under a little bit of pressure here, Adam. I'll stick it on.
Okay. Oh God.
And then see what you think. It's not.
I'm still worried about my mouth. It's on fire.
Oh no!
I'm in pain.
So, it's horrible.
You've done well.
Okay, all right. Here, I'll stick on.
I don't know.
It's just called Idea 1, which is a bit of a shit name.
No, wouldn't it called a slice of prolific?
Oh, yeah.
Because we thought we were going to do loads, and we didn't.
And then the whole year passed.
And we just did a little bit. But
did you enjoy that?
I did enjoy it, yeah.
Completely on the spot.
Completely on the spot. It reminded me of a band called Junip.
All right.
Which is... Can you remember that Sony advert with the bouncing balls?
Okay.
And that song... Heartbeats, which is Jose Gonzalez, which was a cover of, I think, The Knife or something, which is a Swedish band. But he plays in a band called Junip, and it's very, very similar to that. And that's that's something I would definitely listen to on a nice drive up to an airport or something. Yeah, cool. Nice quiet drive one evening. It's nice. It's really good.
Oh, thank you very much. I'll have to check that band out.
There's more to come, I hope.
Well, we've got a live album coming, haven't we?
Oh yeah,
exciting.
We found a load of old recordings, like literally just desk recordings from 2006, some of them 2005.
Some craziness.
Oh, when Carl was a young man.
Oh lordy! And there was some. Sometimes you look back and laugh. Sometimes you look back and just die of
embarrassment.
God,
did I actually say that in front of people?
Yeah, apparently I did. But,
so we've had it remastered. Matt Glass. I don't know if you know Matt Glass, Paul.
Yeah. No, when I was at college, he was one of my teachers. So yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
He went back and remastered them all for us.
Amazing. Cool.
They sound about a million times better, and we're going to release it as a kind of a live.
Amazing. Exciting.
There's some good moments. It's really good moments, yeah. Fun
cool.
times.
I think you had one more question card, didn't you, before we let Adam go?
I on a champion beginners.
Fair enough. Go for it.
You know what I mean? Like, because beginners have a hard time, and they don't know.
They
don't know what's what.
It's a new world. They don't know what's going on.
Isn't it?
Of course it is. Yeah.
And there's so many people who just want to. Oh, I want to be a guitar player. I want to be a bass player, and all that sort of stuff. And it's big enough to get your dad to go and buy your guitar, and all this sort of stuff. But they don't know. They don't know what feels good. They don't know, So your advice?
Go into a shop and play as many guitars as they will let you.
Mm-hmm.
As a beginner, obviously, working in a shop, that
can be intimidating.
It's intimidating, and especially when they sort of plug you into a Marshall stack. There's all these people here, and I've got to play it, But just go in there, try out a few different guitars, shape, styles, makes, all that sort of stuff, and see what feels right to you. And hopefully, if they've kept all their guitars set up properly, then you'll all automatically know that plays really nice.
Feels nice.
That feels good. I should buy this, and go from there. It's all horses for courses.
All right,
at the end of the day.
Once he or she's bought the guitar or bass, have you got some standard things to help them look after it in those initial learning years? Have you got?
So keep it clean. I know that sounds really stupid and a little bit OCD, but dust gets everywhere.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of static going on in the guitar, isn't there, with the pickups, and do they not attract dust?
Yeah. So it will get in all the horrible corners that you can't quite get to, and you can get into the control cavities, and it will get through the pots, and everything will be all crackly and horrible. And just keep it clean, especially if you've got it on a stand and you don't play it for 3 weeks. It will gather dust because that's what happens. It happens to my instruments. I'm sure it happens to your guys' instruments as well. But keep it clean, wipe it. If you're, it sounds a bit weird, but if you are slightly sweatier than other people,
I am.
Then definitely keep it. Definitely keep it clean, and listen to it. If it starts sounding weird and you don't quite know what's going on, take it to someone and say, this doesn't feel right. This doesn't feel like it used to. What's happened to it? How can I fix it? Can you fix it? What's it doing? And more than likely, if it's a good shop, then they would go, this is what's happening, blah 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 blah. This is what you need to do. I can do it for you. It will cost X amount. It just needs this, or I can just tweak the truss rod for you, whatever. But don't ever fight an instrument, because as soon as your instrument starts not playing properly, you won't want to play it. So take it to someone, because, you know, at the end of the day, it's your instrument. You've paid
that's
200, 300,
it,
400, you know,
exactly.
however much for it. You want it to play the best it possibly can. And yeah, just love it. I know it sounds stupid, but really sort of fall in love with your instrument and look after it. Don't keep it in a bag. That's one thing we always used to say when people were starting. Don't keep it in a bag, because it's in a bag, it's covered up, you won't look at it.
Yeah.
Put it on a stand.
Yeah.
The only sort of disadvantage, as I said, was the dust, but, you know, get a duster from the cupboard downstairs or whatever and just give it a quick...
It's better that
once.
you're playing it.
Yeah, exactly, because you'll see it and you'll walk past it and be like, no, I've got 5 minutes, I'll have a play on that.
Yeah.
Well, that's exactly it, and that's all it takes.
And it's all it takes. And if it's...
5 minutes a day, you know what I mean? You're a teacher, I don't know if you've got that. I remember being told when I was starting 5 minutes a day to start with. If you do something good and you know, put it down possibly, you know, because then you'll want to do that, you want to pick it up again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or carry on until, but if you get frustrated with it, definitely put it down.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and simple things like that, you know, but carrying on about care and stuff now, when you say clean, are we talking baby wipes? What are we talking here? What are you
No, you can buy proper guitar polish. They come in little squirty bottles. Dunlop do them. Quite a lot of different manufacturers sort of do them. So just get a guitar polish. If you've got like a dark fingerboard like rosewood or ebony, that's naturally got an oil in it, so you don't need to replenish that oil. So you just get lemon oil and then you rub that in, and it the reason you do that is so it doesn't dry out and then crack. Because as soon as your fretboard cracks, then you've got to buy, you know, you've got to replace that.
You can't do it with maple though, can you? You can't use lemon oil
Not with maple because it's not as porous. Because of the grain on it, you just don't need to do it.
All right.
Some maple fretboards will have a finish on top, so in theory you're just putting oil on lacquer, which, you know, just makes it all oily and slippery and horrible. So maple next you don't need to do it with. Just general guitar polish will clean it up. So yeah, just keep it clean and keep it in eyesight when it's in your room and stuff, and just play it.
Yeah, that's it. Good advice.
Pretty much. So
Well, that's a fantastic note to end on, I think.
yeah.
Thank you very much for coming in.
Well, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
That was fantastic. It's fantastic. And where can people find you if they're guitars?
They can find me on Facebook, which is if you search for Southampton Guitar Repairs, that is me. I repair things. I'm on Instagram with the same name, and I have a website which is obviously Southampton Guitar
Your
Repairs.
Instagram's great. I was looking through it the other day. There's
Thank you
lots
very
of
much.
interesting stuff going on.
Yeah, I try and keep a post a day, you know, something interesting, something that I find, you know, fascinating. Which, you know, some people might not, some people will. It's one of those things. But as long as I'm nibbling away, and there's something always there, something always to look at, and you might learn something.
That's cool.
But yeah,
That's cool.
Southampton
Very
Guitar
cool.
Repairs is me. I fix things and I love doing it.
Carl's got his notebook out. No. This notebook is now famous. Perhaps your notebook should have its own Instagram account. Was that a bit?
I just got the fear because I know if we're ending, I know something daft is about to happen, and I got the fear, and I don't feel ready. I never feel ready.
So I'm gonna put my guitar up. Adam, your bass is still getting stuff. There we go. So by episode 7, it's probably gone past it's definitely a tradition now that we start with a song and we end with a song. You brought lyrics in?
No, they're not lyrics.
What's this then?
I'm going to sing
Yeah.
a list of songs I've written.
Well, this sounds good.
This is the titles of the songs
Right.
that I want to record, and I'm going to
Amazing.
try and sing them.
Okay.
So it's not. It's not even lyrics. I got nothing. There's a shopping list in here.
Brilliant.
Oh,
Okay.
There's like a life list. Change pants. Buy new socks.
Change pants.
Once a week.
Once.
That's right, isn't it? That's what I've been doing in my life.
I've got a list here of stuff to buy, and it's just got C string and grip tape.
I don't want to ask.
I don't even know. It's just that old, this bloody book. Oh, there's another list. New cordless phone, TV aerial lead, plastic boxes. Get them from Nick at work. I don't even remember working with a guy called Nick.
Right, do you want to lay down a funky groove, Adam?
I can remember it from earlier.
I like it when it develops. Number one, neighbours Mama Tom's rice patch. That maze of love. Move closer now.
Sounds a bit Kraftwerk.
Offward clap.
Alright, this is the second verse.
Old big dollar, new version.
That's a blast from the past.
Hustling and bustling around. Snake bite blues. Falling by the way again.
I think I'll put the depressive one. And then the best song of all. The best song title that ever was. The Open Sea Rock Riff one. Thank you for that groove.